Are we live? We are live. What's up, my friend? Abby here, and welcome back to another Write With Me live stream. This is our fourth and final live stream of NaNoWriMo 2022. I know, I can't believe the month is over. Like, it went by so quickly. So I'm glad you guys are still with me. First things first, tell me if you can see me and hear me okay. Gotta make sure everything is working well. And tell me where you're tuning in from. I just got here, but I know you all are in the chat. So type in the chat, tell me where you're tuning in from and what you're writing today. I'd love to hear about your work in progress or even just the genre or what type of story it is. So we always have writers from all over the world writing all kinds of different stories. It's amazing. So I'm really glad that you're here joining us today. Okay, looks like everyone can see me, hear me. Awesome. Fantastic. Okay. So if it's your first time at one of these live streams, welcome. The way that we do this is we do writing sprints and have short breaks in between. So we're going to do 3 writing sprints total, and each writing sprint is going to be 25 minutes. And then we're going to take short breaks in between for me to answer your questions, chat about our books, all kinds of fun stuff. So that's how this works. It will bring us to like basically 2-hour writing session. But if you can't stay for the whole thing, that's okay. The important thing is to just show up for your creativity, show up for yourself, and write as much as you can. It's not about word count. It's not a competition. I know it feels like that sometimes with the NaNoWriMo, especially on the last day of NaNoWriMo. We're like all scrambling to try to finish our projects or reach that final word count on time. But it's not a big deal. Just go with it, just enjoy writing, enjoy the practice. So that's my words of wisdom as we begin. Looks like we have writers from all over the world: Canada, Austria, Texas, New York, Germany, UK, Italy. Awesome. Welcome, everybody. So I'm going to chat for a few more minutes while everybody hops on the live stream. I'm going to have my timers set up, and I'm also going to simultaneously run some sprints in the Discord. So if you're not part of the Discord, you can get access to the Discord by joining my Patreon at any level. And that's patreon.com/AbbyEmmons. If you're interested, all kinds of fun benefits to being inside the Patreon community. But we also do writing sprints there. And all the time, there are writers in that group doing writing sprints. So it's a really fun, vibrant community. And if you are in the Discord, you can pop that open right now if you desire, because I will be running sprints in there as well. Otherwise, you can just stay here in the live stream and type your updates in the chat when we do a sprint. A lot of writers like to share their word count, but again, word count doesn't matter that much. What matters is that you show up and you write. So what am I working on today? I am going to be working on editing and rewriting the Lighthouse book. I feel like I say this every time, but as you guys know, it's a long process creating a book and turning a draft into a better draft. And that has been the theme of this past year, taking what I have and making it better each time. And it's been heartening to see it get better each time. It's definitely been a journey, but it's improved a lot since the first draft. So I'm very happy about that. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. And it's funny because as I was sitting down, I couldn't even remember where I left off, but I think I know where I left off now. So I'm going to be doing some revisions, edits, things like that. So it doesn't even matter if you are doing NaNoWriMo or if you're even writing today. Maybe you're working on something like editing or revisions or even formatting, or maybe you're writing something unrelated, or maybe you're studying. Anything that you are doing that's productive, I hope that you will join us for this live stream. It's going to be fun. Okay, so one last thing before we get started. If you guys were on my channel yesterday, you might have seen the really special interview that I posted. I posted a video in honor of Giving Tuesday, which has been this whole month has been kind of leading up to it, because each live stream I've been doing fundraisers. In each live stream, every Write With Me live stream each week. But yesterday was super special because I posted a really awesome video of an interview that I did with Jessica Mass of Operation Underground Railroad. So Jessica is such an amazing person. She's so inspiring. She is the director of the aftercare program at OUR. And if you guys haven't been here or don't know what that is, OUR, Operation Underground Railroad, is a organization dedicated to fighting human trafficking and rescuing victims of human trafficking around the world. And their work is so incredible. It deserves so much more attention. So definitely check out that video I posted yesterday. It's really inspiring. And I know a lot of people feel like the whole topic of human trafficking is very depressing to talk about, and it is, because it's a huge problem. But it's amazing how inspiring this interview is, because Jessica really goes deep into the aftercare program and what OUR is doing to help survivors heal, and to walk alongside them on this journey of healing, and to watch them their dreams coming true, and to help them see their dreams come true. So it was really encouraging and powerful to speak with Jessica about that in that interview. So I highly recommend checking out that video. That's something I posted yesterday, but the fundraiser is still going. We have 1 day left. This is the last day of NaNoWriMo, last day of the fundraiser. So I invite you to give to the fundraiser on this live stream. I want to see if we can get past 4,000 on this live stream. Let's see if we can do it. Everybody, whatever you can donate, every single donation is appreciated and valued, and all of it makes an impact. So thank you guys so much for all the donations that you've been giving all month long. It's amazing to see, and I appreciate all of your support and your kind words, and that you have a heart for this issue as well. That means so much to me, and to so many others. So, okay, we're gonna get into writing now. I'm going to set my timer. I've got 25 minutes on that clock, and I'm going to start a sprint in the Discord. See if I can remember how to do it. Yes. Okay. I feel like I forget how to do the sprints in Discord every time, but I think I successfully did it. So I'm going to join that one, even though I'm not writing today, but I'm still working on the book. Okay, so who's ready to get started? I am so ready to get started. 25 minutes on this clock, and Discord timer will start soon. Okay, guys, let's get into it. And I will talk to you in 25 minutes. I will answer some questions in the chat, and that will be our break. And then we'll get into our next sprint. I forgot to set some sort of timer that was going to ring. What? Okay, we just went over 25 minutes and there's no like chime to tell me that the time is up, but whatever. Okay, so time's up. I didn't really write, so I don't really know what to type in the Discord. Probably nothing. So tell me how it went in the chat. It was a pretty good sprint. I almost got through the whole chapter, but I still have like probably one page worth to get through before I finish this chapter. So tell me how it went. Looks like you guys had a good sprint. Seeing the word counts rolling in. Awesome. Great job, everybody. We're going to do 2 more sprints, so stick around. But first, we're going to take a small break, and I'm going to answer some of your questions and chat with you guys. So, looks like you guys had a good sprint. Wonderful. Great job. Let's keep at it. Okay. This question is from Emily Dawn French. Where do I go after finishing my own developmental edits? Is it line edits and then beta readers, then professional? I'm just confused on the order of my edits and critiques. That's a great question. I think this process will be different for everybody, but my process is that I first do developmental edits and then I do line edits. And line edits can sometimes be more than one go through of the manuscript. Sometimes line edits look like doing sentence restructuring and rewording things. So the developmental side of things is definitely going to be more focused on the story and the plot, and changing sort of the big stuff. And then line edits is the little stuff. And sometimes line edits I go through more than once because my final pass will have more focus on weak words, passive voice, grammar, things like that. You want to basically get your manuscript as clean as possible before you send it to a professional editor, because not only will it save them time, it will save you money, and it will just be a better experience. It'll go faster, and it will be much easier for your editor to work with. So that's the process for me: developmental, line edits, fine-tooth comb edits, and then professional editor. And also I have another sort of step to my process, which my process is a little bit different because my mom is a fantastic editor. And so she helps me a lot with going through before the professional edit, reading through and trying to make it even better. And I know everyone says, oh, conflict of interest, it's your mom, you know, she's going to be biased, but really, she's brutally honest with me. And it's so good to have people in your life who are brutally honest with you about like whether or not it's actually good, because you should want it to be good. Don't have hurt feelings if somebody critiques you or says, you know, this isn't good enough, this is lacking, this needs more. That's a good thing because it's an opportunity for you to make it better. Try to detach from the work itself, and just look at it as a thing you made. It's not you. I know this is our heart and soul, but it's not you. it is something you made, and if you can make it better, then go for it. So yeah, then I'd recommend the professional edit, and after that, beta readers, and maybe some people to read certain elements of it if there's things that you want to fact check or research that you want to talk to some experts about. That's another step possibly to the process that I do sometimes. So yeah, that's kind of my process in a nutshell. That was a really long-winded reply. Okay, hopefully that helps. How many drafts should there be of your novel before the final ready to publish version? That's a question from Mary O'Donnell. That's a good question. It really depends. Again, it depends on what you have to work with. For some writers, they go through like 4 or 5 or 6 drafts. But for me, that's at this point in my writing life, that's not the case, because I've gotten so into heavy duty outlining that the developmental part is really pretty much completely figured out and solid the first time I write the first draft, which is really nice. It's nice to have that certainty of, I know the story is good because I've taken the time to really outline it thoroughly and make sure that I'm hitting all the plot points I want to hit, making sure that my characters have effective transformative journeys, and really just making sure all of that is good to go ahead of time and the best it can possibly be. And then you write the thing. For me, it ends up being like 3 drafts. Now, when I say draft, I don't mean like a total rewrite, because I never really do a total rewrite from scratch. I have done some rewrites, like with this book that I'm currently working on. I've rewritten certain chapters because I have changed things about the plot. But honestly, I've changed more about this book than something like 100 Days of Sunlight. Like, I barely changed anything developmentally with that book when it was the first draft. It was mostly just revisions, line edits, and sometimes that will be the case. So it depends on the story. I would say it really depends on the story and on the writer and where you are in your writing journey. So earlier on in your writing journey, you'll find that you need to do more rewriting. Then as you practice more and create more works, you will find that you start to do that sort of ahead of time, and you kind of pave the way for success later in the drafting process. Okay, let's see. This is a question from Annie Music Fanatic. How do you get through plot holes? Plot holes can be difficult. My favorite way to solve plot holes is talking them out, and whether that's with somebody else or with myself. I know that sounds weird, but like, it helps so much even just to talk to yourself. This has helped me with plot holes so many times, just talking to myself about it out loud. As if you're talking to somebody else, and just kind of going through all of the options in your mind. And it can also really help to talk to somebody else. So as you guys know, Kate is my writing partner, and a lot of times we chat about our stories respectively, the stories we're working on together, and then even separately. And a lot of times I'll come to her with like a plot hole and be like, okay, this is a problem, help me figure this out. And just talking it through with somebody, even if they're not a writer, they can, a lot of times people, even if they're not a writer, they can still help you with the plot hole and might even give you more beneficial feedback, because they're not looking at it from a writing perspective. They're just looking at it from a reader's perspective. So it can be really nice to have that different perspective on it. But that's always what helps me. Let's see. Oops, hold on. My chat is scrolling too fast. This question is from Jenna Jewel. Does it matter how many chapters each section of the 3-act story structure is? Which ones should be longer and which shorter? Does it matter? It really doesn't matter. Again, it depends on the length of your story. It depends on the complexity of your story. It's cool because the 3-act story structure is like a pattern. It's like a journey, a character arc, right? And the cool thing about that is you can condense it into a short book timeline or a super long timeline. Doesn't matter. So depending on the length of your book, that will really determine how long or how many chapters you spend on each plot point. I would just go with whatever feels good. I know that sounds very vague, but I found that that generally is what I do, and it always works. If I'm like, oh, I need to make sure the pacing is just right, I don't subscribe to that. Like, I've seen that writing advice given, like, the inciting incident needs to happen at the 15% mark, and the game-changing midpoint needs to be the 50% mark, and the aha moment, it's like, well, really? Does it? Does it really? Because I've seen and watched and read many stories that don't abide by any specific percentage marks on the timeline, and they're great. And a lot of times they have that similarity of like the character arc, the positive character arc, the journey of transformation, but it doesn't have to be down to the very exact page number. Like I think that that's a little bit, it gets to be a lot after a while. It's overwhelming. It makes you feel like you can't proceed because you're not doing it exactly right. And that's just nonsense. There's no one right way to write a story. So where was I? How long should each plot point be? It depends. I would go with whatever feels good, and also taking into consideration that some plot points will take longer than others. So for instance, getting to the inciting incident. When the inciting incident happens, that probably will span a longer portion of your book than the hook will, or even the game-changing midpoint, right? Or the first plot point. The first plot point might be, there might be more deliberation because your character is really facing that impossible choice and trying to decide what they're going to do. So I feel like this is a non-answer. I feel like I'm not really answering your question, but just kind of feel it out, see what feels good, and go with your intuition on this. Okay, hopefully that helps. We're gonna get to our next writing break, and then I'm gonna answer more questions on the next break. So let's set up our timers again. 25 minutes. I started another sprint in the Discord. Okay. I'm not even going to join the Discord sprint because I'm just editing. Okay. Actually, hold on. I want to set up a timer so I will actually hear it ring. When time is up. Okay. All right. Good luck, everybody. I will talk to you in 25 minutes. was timer number 2 for our second sprint. Just finished. Tell me how it went. I am going through what I just wrote, trying to catch any additional edits, which I've been lately doing with Grammarly. So I never used to use Grammarly, but I have recently been using it within my Scrivener. Hi, Rocket. I've been lately using it within my Scrivener to catch like all the things I don't see, at least some of them, and it's been pretty good. I usually end up like probably end up taking like 30% of its suggestions or less. Some of the suggestions are really good, and then others I'm like, no, that's my writing style. Which some of these grammar and spelling apps or things that like will help you improve your writing are more for copywriting and like professional writing rather than like fictional writing, I find. It seems more geared towards nonfiction a lot of times because it really depends on your writing style. So yeah, I try to kind of just consider each edit and see if I like it. But it has been helping. Okay, we're going to take a quick break and then we're going to get into our third and final writing sprint. Okay, so answer some questions. Let's see. This question is from Reese Sage. How do you explain what your character's fears and desires are in the opening hook? How do you exactly grab the reader's attention by that? That's a big question. It's difficult. I know. I made a whole live training about writing the opening chapter, writing the opening hook, because there's a lot to say about this topic, which, by the way, I highly recommend that live training if you want to check it out. It's on my Patreon. But I would say that how to show the desire and fear right in the hook, have your character be experiencing something that pulls on the inner conflict. So that could be many different things, but this is why I like to bring the inciting incident into the story as soon as possible, because it's like, let's just get to the point. Let's cut to the chase. What is going to happen? What's going to rock this character's world? What is going to push them outside their comfort zone? And I know I've talked about the hook being sort of the moment where you draw the lines of the comfort zone, so that in the inciting incident, when you push them outside their comfort zone, you have that context to understand what it means to the character to be pushed outside their comfort zone. So there's so many ways that you can do this, so many ways you can set this up. It's difficult to give like one right answer because there's so many different ways you can do it. But it's really that internal struggle, showing that internal struggle. What does this character struggle with on a daily basis, even when nothing bad or like crazy is happening to them? Like what is their daily internal difficulties and struggles, and what is it they believe? That's a big one. And again, if we can get down to the misbelief, we can get down to the fatal flaw. This ties right into your story's theme. The fatal flaw is present in your character's mind all the time because it's what they believe. It's what they base every decision off of, no matter what kind of decision it is. So I would recommend studying some of your favorite stories and seeing how they pull this off. As far as the opening hook, what is it that shows you what the character is struggling with at the very beginning of the book? And it doesn't have to be complicated. It can be very simple. Internal conflict is not a complicated thing. Even external conflict doesn't have to be complicated. In fact, I always recommend making it simpler because that way you have more room for character growth. So hopefully that helps. Let's see. This question is from Mallory. What word processor do you use for rough drafts? Do you draft in Scrivener? Yes, I do. I draft in Scrivener all the time, and I can't imagine writing without it at this point. It's so good. It's like it it is a writer's dream come true. I highly recommend Scrivener. But beyond that, once I am done with the drafting process and I'm done with the editing process, I kind of migrate over to Microsoft Word because that's what my editor uses. So once I send my manuscript to my professional editor, I will then be receiving a document back from her with track changes and comments, and that will be something that I work in word processor in Microsoft Word beyond that point. Same with the proofreader that I work with. So beyond that point, it's all pretty much Microsoft Word, but for writing, drafting, definitely Scrivener. But you know, you can work in any program as long as it's organized and efficient. Let's see. This is a good question. This is from Anahi Herrera. I'm sorry if I'm totally not saying your name right. Hi, do you have any tips on avoiding the incessant use of I when writing in the first point of view? It gets on my nerves so badly. Also, is this my problem or can anyone else relate? Yes, I can relate a lot to that. I struggled with this way more in the past. As I've practiced writing more, I have gotten better at not using the word I to start every sentence. And really what it is, it's like a focus shift. So because you're writing from a character's perspective, right, the first person, you don't have to necessarily tell me, I'm doing this, I look, I see, I wonder, I ask, I feel. You don't have to necessarily filter all the action through I or me, because we just assume it's happening to this person. This person is the observer, right, of what's happening around them. So that can be one thing to watch out for, is like any filter words. I feel, I hear, I see, I wonder, I think. Any of those, see if you can just take them out. Like, what happens if you just take them out? Can you just take it out and will the sentence be the same? Most of the time it will. And if you just tell me, if you just describe what the character is looking at without I see this, we know they see it. You know what I mean? But as far as like just using I too much, focus on switching the focus really to other subjects of what is going on around them. I know it sounds kind of vague, but you can study this in books. In any well-written book that is from the first person perspective, just notice, even highlight or annotate in this book of what sentences don't begin with I, yet still tell me something about what the protagonist is doing or feeling or seeing or hearing or wondering. And how did the writer do that? So as you read more and as you write more, this will just kind of start to come naturally to you, but it's definitely something to practice. Okay, we're going to get started with our next sprint in just a minute. I'm going to answer 2 more questions. Let's see. This is from Eden Grace. How do you include setting description in your writing without ruining the flow and making sure it links to the present scene? Very good question. Settings are sometimes hard to establish, but you really don't need a lot. Less is more, right? And again, you see everything happening at the pace at which you read. That is my golden rule of pacing. So I try not to stop the flow too much by like, okay, pause. Let's go into a big long description of what is around this character. We really don't need that much. We need like maybe a couple of sentences, especially if it's something that we've already established this scene or this setting. We don't have to describe it over and over again every single time the character is in this location. So see what you can do with less. And this can be a fun exercise because it will make you a better writer. It will make you a stronger writer to see what you can, how much you can describe in as few words as possible. I would also recommend checking out my video on writing descriptions. I just recently did a video on that, actually a couple months ago. Now, it was an Ask Abby video, but if you type in Abby Emmons descriptions, you'll see it. It'll pop right up. That will help as well. Okay. And one last question from Dragon Talon 486. Do you have any good tips for writing flashbacks in the story? I've heard flashbacks are hit or miss, but any help you could give would be very helpful. I have a whole video on writing flashbacks as well. Check that one out. But long story short, my golden rule of flashbacks is cause and effect. So what is the trigger? What is the effect? What brings us into the flashback, and what is the impact it has on the story going forward? If you can answer those two questions and answer them very clearly, and you can see the impact, you can see the trigger, you can see the cause and the effect, then it's a good flashback. It's a strong flashback. It might even be perfect for that moment in your book. I would also like to say that flashbacks don't have to be written the same way throughout the whole book, or even in the same style. Like, you don't have to go into a huge flashback if you want your character to be remembering something from their backstory, for instance. It could be just a glimpse. It could be one sentence. It could be one paragraph. And then maybe as the story progresses, you have longer and longer flashbacks. And maybe you end up having a whole chapter that's a flashback. It doesn't really matter. There's no like right or wrong way to do it. I've done it many different ways in my own writing, and I love flashbacks because I think they enhance the story a lot. But you have to have that clear trigger and that clear impact on the story going forward. So we have to know why we're seeing this right now. Has something triggered it? Has the character in the present moment encountered something that made them remember what happened in the past? And going forward, how does this change the way we look at this character and the story? So if you can answer those two questions, you're good to go. You've written a good flashback. Okay, let's get into our third and final writing sprint. I'm going to set my timer again and start another sprint in the Discord. Feel free to join that if you're in the Discord. Otherwise, stay here on the live stream, and we are going to write for another 25 minutes. I'm going to see if I can finish this chapter. I think actually I did finish that chapter. I'm going to do one more. So let's go. Boom, timer number 3 just rang, and it's getting really dark in here. Oh my gosh. The sun went away. Sad. The day is basically over. Crazy. Time flies, right? Time flies when you're having fun. Okay, so tell me in the chat how it went. How did your final writing sprint go? And was it a successful writing session altogether? Let me know in the chat. It got really dark in here. See if I can make it a little bit brighter. There we go. Okay, so did it go good? Someone wants to know, where did I get my outfit? Thank you. I'm glad you like it. I got the shirt from TJ Maxx, and I got these shorts from a linen shop in my town. But yeah, thank you. Looks like you guys had a great sprint and a fantastic session. Yay! Awesome. You guys wrote so many words. You should be so proud of yourselves and so happy, because even if you didn't write as many words as you were hoping to write, even if you didn't reach your word count goal for NaNoWriMo or any of that, it's okay, because you showed up for your creativity. You showed up for yourself and your book, your story. That is really what NaNoWriMo is about. It's about creating a writing habit. That's what I've always loved about it. I've loved this idea that we can show up for ourselves every day for 30 days and create this beautiful habit of creativity. So that's the most important thing. And if you hit a certain word count goal, good on you. That's awesome as well. Okay, guys, this has been wonderful, and I've really, really enjoyed doing these live streams every week with you guys. It's been so cool to be on this journey with you and watch you accomplish your writing goals and to get some work done on my book as well. And I didn't get as much work done this month as I had hoped. I wanted to make more progress on this book, but it was not, this month did not go according to plan in any way at all. But that's okay, because there's always tomorrow. There's always next month. So even if you didn't finish your writing project, it's okay. You have next month, you have next year, you have all the time in the world. Take the time for your creativity, enjoy it, enjoy the process, enjoy the journey. That's what it's all about. If you don't enjoy the journey, then like, what's the point? What's the point of any of it? So thank you guys so much for being here for these live streams. We're going to continue doing Write For Me live streams, but not every single week. I usually do one per month in the normal months that we have on this channel. NaNoWriMo is a bit different, and so is June, because I usually do a writing retreat in June. But I will be doing at least one writing session live every month henceforward. So stick around for that. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, because I'd love to have you here in the community. Man, this has been such an amazing year, guys. It's been so amazing to see this community grow and to see all of you getting closer to accomplishing your author dreams, to seeing your author dreams come true. So special, and I'm honored to be a part of your journey. So thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing your time with me. Thank you also to everybody who donated to the fundraiser on this live stream. There's still time to donate. There's still time to give to this amazing cause. And again, check out the video that I posted yesterday, because you guys don't want to miss that. It was really insightful, beautiful conversation, and I think it will inspire you guys a lot. So check that out and give to the fundraiser if you can. Every donation counts, no matter how small. You guys are making an incredible impact. Thank you so much for being here, for joining me for this live stream, and for subscribing to this channel, being a part of the community. I love you guys so much, and I wish you the best of luck with your novels and your writing going forward. Okay, I will see you guys next week. And we're going to continue our normal schedule of Wednesdays and Saturdays. Ask Abby's on Saturdays and Writer's Life Wednesdays. All kinds of fun content coming super soon. So until then, rock on.